I think a lot of women like us who identify as being, capable, can get things done, responsible, driven, ambitious, we have quietly built our identities around how much we can take on and how much we can handle, how much we can do, how much we can hold on our shoulders, how much we can carry. And for a long time, I took pride in being, the woman who can do everything, who can do it all. But I just had to come to a realization that not only is that not a strength, it's really like unsustainable. It's very unsustainable. So that's what I want to talk about in today's video. I want to talk about my relationship with overwork, self-worth, and how I had to stop romanticizing how much I can handle. And I hope this conversation and my journey through this might be able to help you. So I feel as though, when we talk about this topic, a lot of things start with us as young girls into, our formative years. And we've been the capable woman has literally become our identity, dependable, handling pressure, figuring things out, of course, being the strong one. And then, that, of course, flows into our careers, the promotions, the titles, the leadership, the visibility, expectations, they become more. And at some point, this was definitely my story. And I know it's many women's story. And I ultimately just came to the point where, being capable, give it to Erica, she can handle it, raising my hand, I'll do it. Like that literally became my identity. And I also noticed, of course, later, oh, that's why I'm having these conversations. Cause like, if I can just share, my realizations, after the fact, maybe they can help other people. But I just started laughing because I later realized that the more capable you are, the more capable you appear, the more things are handed to you. And this goes back into my series of other videos that I've been having on this 100-day journey. When you get to that place, like no one is checking on you. You're not even checking on yourself. You just continue to get work, responsibilities, expectations, duties, all of these things just handed to you, and you take them because it has become a part of your identity. It had become a part of mine, and if I'm honest, that's how I was able to climb the ladder, I guess fairly quickly, and then burn out years later. I just came to the point where that was no, I just normalized it, like, again, I just chopped it up to, as I've said in other videos, and I was being fed as well from, the people in the workplace, the people in the world, and also my family. Like, well, that's just the cost of being success. So I kept going with my schedules being packed, with overextending myself, with constantly being exhausted, with always being on, always stepping up to that heavy pressure expectations. I just kept doing it. It was like who I was. So it was like, okay, if this is who people think I am, if this is who I think I am, I guess, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I just got so used to operating at overworking and operating at overextending myself. It just had become normal. It just had become normal. And again, because I was doing well, I wasn't complaining, nobody was checking on me. I wasn't checking on myself. And I thought it was okay, and I guess everyone else around me thought it was okay too. And we also have to have the conversation around, we are rewarded for these types of behaviors. As a young, responsible little girl, I was rewarded, going as far as always getting straight A's, always being well behaved. And of course, there's, good pros and cons to that. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. But when that, starts and it continues to grow, and then in your career, you get rewarded for that. You get the promotions, you get the pat on the back, you get the bigger teams, you get the higher budgets. Like, you get rewarded. People start admiring you for your work ethic. These behaviors are rewarded, which then ingrains them in to you even more, ingrain them into me even more. People began rewarding me basically for abandoning myself and not taking care of myself. Like, just think about that. People, that's the summary of it. People rewarded me for abandoning myself and not taking care of myself. That's ultimately what it was. And because I was being rewarded this way, I didn't recognize that long term, it just wasn't sustainable. Like, it just is not sustainable to move in this way constantly, chronically, without just taking care of yourself. It's just flat out unsustainable. And again, when I was being rewarded for this type of behavior, I didn't recognize that at the time. And I know so many other women don't as either. And in addition to taking on like the extra work, the extra projects, all of those things that happen when we talk about our career advancement in the workplace, it goes beyond that too, because even though you might be able to physically, do the job or take on the task or lead the project, it also, your energy also matters with that too. Like, your capacity and understanding that, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you necessarily should. I always say that when I think about my capacity, like today, we're fast forwarding to today, I don't just think about, okay, can I physically do this? Because most times I can do it, physically do it. But I'm always thinking about, is this aligned with my energy right now? Is this going to move my work or the way I want to live forward? Like, my capacity goes more into that, my creative capacity, my overall bandwidth, like just being very intentional and really like looking at overall, like, can I take this on? Like, not just, can I physically do it? Because that's how many of us got in this situation to begin with. Because technically we can do it, but did we really have the capacity for it? And when I look back on that time, a lot of times I really didn't have the capacity for it. Of course, I didn't have the language to articulate it in that way back then either. But today I do, and it's something that I always look at work, like in my 9 to 5 and in my business, from more than just a can I do it, level, but a capacity level. And I think that's really important. And also, like today, I am like tired. I feel like I only have a few more days on this 100-day journey that I'm showing up here on YouTube. And I feel like I am running out of gas. I really, really do. And it could be like, a mental thing, like, because when you're running a race, because I've run a 5K before. It's like once you get, like you're right towards the end, then you like start slowing down. You start slowing down, like, oh, I see the ending. But I really feel tired today, so my energy might be a little bit low. But I think it kind of ties into this topic about like not romanticizing, well, no longer romanticizing how much I can handle. And like I've made this commitment, of course, to show up here every day for 100 days on YouTube. And of course, I'm going to keep that commitment. And I think too, that's where motivation and consistency differ as well. Because if you wait for motivation to continue to lead you, motivation will eventually run out. But if you're consistent about something, you've made a dedication to something, I think showing up, it matters. And, again, I'm being honest, like, girl, I am tired today. But I think it's important to still show up and to share. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm like right at the end of this 100-day journey. But going back to talking about like capacity and how much we can carry and how much we can take on. For me in my career, all of that work, like doing the extra work, raising my hand, overworking, stretching myself beyond my capacity, all of that worked until it didn't. And that's why I said in the beginning, it's definitely not a strength, and it's just not sustainable. And I think a lot of women like us, ambitious women, driven women, we stay in this pattern because it does work for a little while. Excuse me, it does work. We get the promotions, I did. We get praised, I did. We become successful, whatever that looks like. You're making a certain amount of money, you have a certain title. I did. People praise you, people, all of the things. It works until it doesn't. Because for me, my mind and body ultimately was like, girl, we cannot keep going this way. And that's what led to my burnout. My mind, my body, even my spirit, it was asking me for a different way to work and live, because ultimately just moving in that way, just chronically consistently, it's not sustainable. It's sustainable at all. And then again, it led me to the burnout. It led me to chronic misalignment. It led me to exhaustion, not longer like even knowing who I was. It led me to being overweight, unhealthy, on 2 types of anxiety medication. That's where romanticizing, oh yeah, I can do it, I can take it, give it to me, da da da. That's where that led me. It led me right to all those places. So today, I just no longer live that way. I am, listen, I don't want to do, I can't do it. I can't do everything, and nor do I want to do everything. I don't want to do it. Get somebody else to do it. Yeah, I'm just no longer that person that can do everything, or I'm raising my hand for everything, or I'm just so committed to overworking or looking at overwork as a strength. And again, I'm in a very unique position because I'm still navigating a 9 to 5. I'm building a business. I've taken on this other kind of big project with YouTube, showing up here every day for 100 days, and then trying to, as I get towards the end, just starting to think about what this will look like after the 100 days. So it's not like I'm just sitting around not doing anything. I'm doing a lot, to say the least, while still continuing to prioritize my health and wellness. So I'm doing a lot, but proving myself, overextending myself, overworking myself is just no longer the goal. I'm always moving with intention and alignment, and I'm always looking for my path to easeful ambition because, like I said, I feel like I'm going to always be ambitious, although my ambition no longer looks like what it used to look like 5 years ago. But I'm always going to want to create. I'm always going to want to build. I'm always going to want to grow. But I'm just no longer in a place where I'm doing it at any cost. I want to do it easefully, like in flow with intention and alignment. And again, not meaning that it's easy, meaning that it requires no effort, because of course things take effort. To create things, to build things, to show up here every day on YouTube requires effort. But so I understand that. And I'm not saying that I'm looking for easy, but I'm always following the path of ease, meaning flow, intention, alignment, a regulated nervous system. That's the path that I'm always moving towards. And again, there are times where I have to check myself, and because it's easy to kind of fall back into old patterns. But I think now, just doing this type of work and living this way for 4 years now, I just catch it really, really quickly now. And I'm able to like shake myself like, girl, hey, we don't do that anymore. So my life is just no longer based on, how much I can carry, how much I can do. It's just, how can this work, this project, this client that I'm working on, this working with, this project that I'm building, how can it ultimately lead me towards the life that I'm building in the way that I want to work, in the way that I want to live? And I think a lot of ambitious women are admired for how much they can handle, how much they can carry, while being crushed, broken down, wiped out, slowly deteriorating from who they are right in the meantime. And I just had to come to the realization that that's not how I wanted to live anymore. I just stopped looking at exhaustion and overwork and just taking on so much as a sign that I was strong. To me, now strength looks like knowing my limits, leading with intention, moving in alignment, discerning what projects I should take on, discerning what clients I should work with. Like, that's what leads my life today. Yeah. And I wanted to have this conversation today because I know the women who watch this channel can resonate with that. And I just think that you, as well as myself, we don't have to live and we don't have to live a life that we have to continuously abandon ourselves or continuously not take care of ourselves. You deserve a life where you can be able to move and maintain it, where it's focused on your wellness, your health, and ultimately the vision that you have for the way you want to work and live. So yeah, let me know if any of this resonated with you down in the comments. We are getting close to day 100, and I'm going to go live on day 100. It's going to be Sunday, May 17th, 12 noon Eastern. That'll be the time for sure. And I don't know the topic yet, but if you've enjoyed any of these conversations over this 100-day journey, you should be in the live. I'll just put it like that. I have a few kind of topics I want to lead with, but I haven't decided yet, but definitely if you've enjoyed or resonated with any of these conversations on this 100-day journey, you definitely want to be on the live. So just stay tuned. Give this video a like. Like I said, I know my energy is a little bit low because I'm tired, but I am dedicated to showing up. And I'm definitely going to get me some rest after this. First, I'm going to go take a walk and get some sun. And then I'm definitely going to get some rest. But I'm Erica Prevail. I share daily conversations, helping ambitious women rework their relationships. And I'm tired with ambition, capacity, rest, and creativity. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.